I'm always asked what's the craziest thing I've ever seen, and in this next episode, we're gonna talk about one of these things that I've seen, one of the situations I've seen that has impacted me and um, is still in my head. Check it out.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Yamatodamashii podcast. We recently posted a quickfire episode on some sort of UFC 270 predictions. So if you didn't see that, check it out. But what we thought we'd also do today, right, is talk about a crazy incident from Enson's life. We love these stories. The fans love hearing these stories. And one of the things that comes up quite a lot, because you have lived that exciting life and you've seen so many crazy things, is a lot of people kind of ask you, what's one of the craziest things that you ever saw? And you've got a bit of a story today about a particular incident. And I don't know, where's best to kick this story off? I mean, maybe what year are we talking? How long ago was this incident?
I think it was maybe about the year 2000.
Okay.
Because I remember I was still married at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like a situation, the incident that it was real weird because I didn't ask for it. It came upon me out of my control. And it's something that I can still see it in my head. And it's something that I never got closure to. So to make, to get straight to the point is I saw a guy jump out of a building on the 8th floor. So I didn't literally see him jump, but I was there on the bottom when he jumped and when he landed. I was driving my car and I was passing through a little lane. And I remember looking up because there was a big commotion. And I look up and I see a lady and a man arguing. I was like, oh shit, man. But I was going to take a turn. So I figured, I just glanced up. I was still driving and said, oh, they're fighting. And I remember just taking the turn. As soon as I made the turn, there's a shed that was right around. I had to turn around. And right on I remember hearing a boom, like a huge thud, and shoes flying right in front of my car. And I was like, holy shit. My first thought was somebody threw a box over the balcony and hit the shed when some of the articles of clothing fell out. So, I mean, you know what's real weird is it was actually a guy that jumped. And when you think about it, when you tie your shoes on your feet and you have someone sit down and try and pull it off without taking the laces off, it's almost impossible to get it off. But I guess this impact that from the guy's body hitting the shed, it flew both shoes off his feet.
Whoa.
So as soon as I heard that, I saw that, I thought, oh, it was a huge thud. So I thought, whoa, first thing, box. Someone threw a box, but let me go check. So I got in my car, walked around the corner to where I heard the bang, and I saw the body on the ground. I saw a body on the ground, the guy that was arguing with the lady upstairs.
Shit.
And I looked down, and he was face down, and the shed had a dent on it. And even today, you can see a discoloring in the shed where they fixed that part only. And out of his head, there was this real dark, red, brownish, almost black. Looked like curry, coming out of his head. So my first thought, he's dead. I'm not going to even check his pulse. And I looked up where the lady was, and she was screaming, running, frantically screaming back and forth. And I could hear her screaming, I had him in my hands. So apparently he must have climbed up on the balcony and she grabbed him and tried to hold on to him. And he just jumped. So I got on the phone and I called the ambulance. I called the police, actually. Explained to him the situation, explained to where I was. And they sent the ambulance. So I waited there, and it was, I thought just one look at it, this guy wasn't alive. Well, what kind of surprised me was the ambulance came, gathered him up, put him on a stretcher, and took him right away and sped off. So, maybe his vitals are still going. Maybe he wasn't completely dead yet, but I remember standing there, and the family of 3 came down. There was like 2 guys and a lady, and the lady was crying, and the guy was standing there, and I was like, I felt like an outsider. I was standing there like, ooh, I felt like I really shouldn't be here. This is such a private time for them. I should just disappear. But I just felt that, I want to let them know that, if they need anything, I was the one who called the ambulance or called the police. So I went over to the guy, and I gave him my phone number and said, hey, if there's anything I can do, I'm the one who called the police and the ambulance, so give me a call. And in a way, I was kind of hoping that he would call me and let me know what happened. I was pretty sure the guy passed, but just for closure, it would be nice to know. And before I was leaving, he said, oh, who are you? And I kind of told him, I'm a fighter. My name is Enson. I'm a fighter. He goes, oh, thank you. You've done enough. I said, I asked him if there's anything I can do. He said, no, you've done enough. Thank you very much. And I got in my car and left. And I was actually hoping for a call. I mean, just so they tell me that, he actually passed, or he made it, or he's in the hospital, something, anything for some kind of closure. So I didn't get it. So I remember like 3 or 4 days later, I went to the apartment complex, and it's a place where there's security where you need to have a pass to get in, or a code. So I couldn't get in. So I went to the guard guy, and I asked him, what happened? Did the guy make it? And the guy looked at me like, what are you talking about? There's nothing like that happened here. So apparently he wanted to hide it. I don't think that's something that you want to advertise in Japan. Like if you have an apartment complex, you don't want to live somewhere that there was a suicide. And I remember I don't know why, but just out of curiosity, I went through the back, jumped over a gate. I climbed up to the 8th floor where the guy was, and I looked over to what he saw in his last view. And man, that jump is not where he jumped, and the way he jumped, he didn't have a hesitation, and he didn't plan to live. So when I looked down at where he jumped from the height that he jumped, I was like, man, this guy planned to die. So yeah, I mean, if you ask me if one of the craziest things I've seen, I think that was probably one of the craziest things I've ever seen. And it's still in my head. I can't really get it out. Every time I drive by there, that whole picture just flashes back in my head.
Yeah, I mean, do you have any speculation of what might have happened in that scenario?
Yeah, well, he was apparently the guy was having an argument with his mother.
Right.
So that was his mother that he was arguing with. How horrible for the mother. Huh?
Yeah, that's the
and
worst.
Apparently the argument got bad enough where he ran over to the edge of the balcony and jumped.
Yeah, that's the worst thing for a mother to see.
Yeah.
I mean, there'll be people listening to this that might have been in a serious situation like that where they've, considered taking their own life. You're someone that has such an importance with mentality. I'm just wondering, do you have any advice for someone that might be in that situation where they're actually considering that?
I have a theory that whenever somebody's going through a time that's super hard, that they really feel like they don't want to live or they don't want to continue, I always have a theory that think about something in your past. Say when you're in high school, like say you got a ticket, you're getting scolding from your parents, or the girl that you love doesn't like you and you just want to end it, or your school grades are going so bad that you don't know what to do. And you think about it. Yeah, you think about something 10 years ago in your life, that's something you thought was like, worth everything, worth so much to you that you didn't know if your life could go on. And then think about what it means to you today. That's a thought I always like to tell people is, You know, like for example, if there was a girl in high school that she cheated on you, and it broke your heart, and you didn't know what to do. You didn't give a shit. I'm gonna go kill that other guy. I don't care if I go to jail. I don't give a shit about living anymore. You think about that, how bad and how deep you really believe that was the end of the world because of what this girl did.
Mm-hmm.
And then you think about it now. I laugh at that. I laugh at that now. I think, holy shit. I could give a shit what the girl's doing right now. I could give a shit what she's doing, where she is, how many kids she has, what she's doing. That guy that she cheated with, I could give a shit if he's dead or he's having a great life, if he's a millionaire. Oh, good, great for him. I could really give a shit, So I believe to try and put that into perspective. There's something that's super important to you now. 10 years later, it's really not going to mean anything. And then it's hard to compare this with that situation, because I think it was one of those things that just on the spur of the moment, just the anger took over. And if I have to give advice for someone like that, I'm actually someone that actually needs to work on something like that too. I could get pissed off enough that I could do something that could really hinder my life. I could beat someone up and kill them, because I'm angry at something. So I think that's just something that we all have to work on. I wish I could get advice for that, but I don't. But as far as any other type of problem, yeah, I like that 10-year rule. Think about what was really, really important to you 10 years ago, and see what it means now.
Yeah. No, that is really good advice, actually, because I think back to some of things personally where you were so engulfed in 10 years ago, and you look back at it and you're just like nothing, right? So that's really sound advice for anyone that might be having a tough time. So no, I think that's is a really crazy story, and obviously it's a shame that you sort of witnessed that and have that sort of image in your head today. Is there anything that you maybe learned from that situation, or maybe something that you felt sort of proud the way you handled it as best as you could, ringing the ambulance? And
well, I'm glad I was level-headed enough to be able to call the ambulance. If the guy made it, it is definitely me calling the ambulance as soon as I did. If he didn't, maybe not, but just the fact that I was able to stay level-headed enough to call the police, wait there, and not freak out. So
yeah, right, especially seeing that. So
yeah, it's a crazy thing to see, man. It's a really crazy thing to see. Yeah,
no, it's cool that you can at least take away and say, actually, I'm happy with the way I dealt with that situation, right? So
yeah, it's just something that I just cannot explain. It's not something I asked for or something I chose to see. It's something that, can you hear? It's something that just jumped into my life. I until this day right now, I don't know why, but I'm pretty sure there's a reason why that was thrown into my life. There's a reason why I had to experience that, and only God knows why. And maybe it'll be something next year that'll help me in a situation with that experience and that knowledge in my head, seeing something like that happen. Maybe 10 years from now, I don't know, but I'm something that severe, just getting thrown into your life. There's got to be a reason. So don't know what it is now, but probably will be yet to see why. And I'm pretty sure that experience will help me deal with something else in my future.
Yeah. I mean, maybe when this episode potentially gets subtitled, if anyone knows the family or recognizes some of the footage that we put in here, then hopefully they can reach out and maybe give you a bit of closure about what actually happened. But who knows? Or maybe it will remain a mystery. But either way, I think it's an interesting story to share anyway. So yeah, so
it'll be in my third book.
Nice. Brilliant. Well, if anyone hasn't checked out Enson's first book, check it out. It's available on Amazon. in all different sort of countries and locations. There's links down to it below. If you guys have any other suggestions for any other content you'd like to see, any stories that you may think that Enson might not have covered in his book, or a memory, let us know. Let us know in the comments, and we'll cover it. We'll cover it at some point. And more guests to come, more stories to share, more fights to break down. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled, and we'll talk to you guys again soon.
All right.